Morning students, hope you all are safe at your home. I am back with my new video on chapter 4 planning. Planning is the basic function of management, is the primary function of management. We discussed about what is planning, features of planning, limitations of planning and importance of planning. But in today's video, we discuss few case studies on the chapter planning and basically on meaning, features and limitations of planning. Before starting the case studies, we take up some objective type questions. So, first of all, what is planning? Planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, how to do, for whom to do. Basically, all W related questions are asked in the concept of planning. Planning is the bridge gap between present and the future. It is to be maintain a bridge between present and the future. So, let's take up some important objective type questions. The question number 1 is, which function of management is considered as the base of all other functions? Again, I am going to repeat the question because every question you just read twice. Which function of management is considered as the base of all other functions? When we say function of management, we need to strike all the functions of management in my mind. That is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. All function of management are in mind. So, out of these 5 functions, only one function is the base of all other functions. So, my answer is base of all other functions, planning. So, my answer is planning. Now, move to question number 2. The simple question is, now planning leads to rigidity. Planning leads to rigidity. Rigidity means you have to be bound, you have to be fixed, you have to be rigid at one place. You are not flexible. You also learn that rigid world is in chapter 2, principles of management. Science principles are rigid, but management principles are flexible. The same planning policies are rigid, bound. So it is a concept of method of planning? No. Characteristic of planning, as per my opinion, again no. Importance? No. Limitation? Yes. It is a limitation of planning because bound, limit. So that is why it is a part of limitation of planning. Now, question number 3. Planning is useless function, physical exercise, mental exercise, one-time process. Out of these 4, which one is read in the characteristics or in importance or in limitation? Anyone? Yes, correct answer. Mental exercise. Planning is basically a thinking process. We continuously thinking. It is a basically intellectual, mental abilities. Bilkul perfect. Right? So planning is basically what? It is a mental exercise. So this kind of objective type questions asked from in the examination. So now we move to the some case studies, and case studies are very important. Case studies are very important. In every chapter, case studies is basically important aspect of board exam. So move to the next case studies. In my previous videos, I have told you case studies is not difficult as to see. No, it is not difficult. It is very easy to solve the case study, but first of all, we need to be focused what question wants. First, we need to be read the question 2 times very carefully what the question wants. So first we read the question, what my question wants. That is, name and explain the limitation of planning highlighted in the above para. So we need to be find out limitation of planning. So we need to be recall all the limitations of planning in my mind. Like planning leads to rigidity. Planning is reduces creativity. So there are many limitations of planning and we need to be recall all the limitations of planning in my mind. The question is, New Generation Limited is a company manufacturing garments. While making its plan, the company takes into consideration the business environment. It constantly adapts itself to changes in environment by making changes in its plan. It constantly adapt means it is a dynamic nature itself to changes in environment by making changes in its plan. It becomes difficult for the manager of the company to accurately foresee future trends in the environment. Competition in the market upset its financial plan. Then sales target have to be revised and accordingly cash budget also need to be modified since they are based on sales figure. Again I am going to repeat my case study. New Generation Limited is a company manufacturing garment. No need of give to importance this line. While making its plan, the company takes into consideration the business environment. Business environment, basically it is a part of business environment. It constantly adapts itself to changes in environment by making changes in its plan. However, it becomes difficult for the manager of the company to accurately foresee future trends in the environment. So company जो थी बेसिकली किसके ऊपर बेस थी, बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट के चेंजेस पे. जैसे जैसे एनवायरनमेंट में चेंजेस आ रहे हैं वी नीड टू बी चेंज इन प्लान, बट प्लानिंग में नॉट वर्क इन अ डायनामिक एनवायरनमेंट. इट इज़ वन ऑफ द लिमिटेशन, प्लानिंग में नॉट वर्क इन अ डायनामिक एनवायरनमेंट. तो यहीं से इसी पॉइंट से एंड इन दिस पॉइंट वी स्ट्राइक इट, प्लानिंग में नॉट वर्क इन अ डायनामिक एनवायरनमेंट. Competition in the market upset its financial plan. Sales target have to be revised and accordingly cash budget also need to be modified. So you have to name it. Planning is may not work in a dynamic environment and explain that limitation of planning in detail. Got it everyone? So we need to be focused the basic idea. We need to be focused what the question wants. Now move to the next question. Again my question is, before reading the question, before reading the case, I want to know what question wants from me. My question is, on the basis of the given information about Rocky, answer the following questions. So there are 2 questions, it means, or 3 questions. Question number 1 is, identify and explain the function of management which Kishore failed to perform. Identify means you only name it, but says explain as well. So you have to be explain as well. You have to write the definition of the function of management which Kishore failed to perform. There are 2 persons in that, Rocky and Kishore. Kishore failed to perform. Which function Kishore failed to perform? By quoting lines, and you have to quote the line as well. You have to quote the line as well. Now second one, describe briefly any 2 features of the function of management. Any 2. They never said, question never said Explain any two features which are discussed in the above case. Any two features. So first you need to identify the function which not fulfilled by Kishore, and after that you can write any two features. You can speak any two features. So now we discuss the case study. We'll read the case study in a detail. After completing B.Tech in electrical engineering, Rocky sets a unit to produce LED bulb. Due to government support for the project, he is able to get finance at a reasonable rate of interest. Rocky set a unit to produce LED bulb, and due to government support for the project, he is able to get finance at a reasonable rate of interest. Rocky has the ability to foresee and plan his operations very well. His company does well and needs to appoint a manager to help him. Kishore joins his business as the production manager. Kishore is very poor at planning the activities and does his work in a very haphazard manner, in a very disturbed manner. He never do the work in a proper way. So this line indicates Kishore have a lack of planning. So planning function of management Kishore failed to perform. Quote the line, Kishore is the very poor at planning the activities and does his work in a very haphazard manner. After that, due to this, their order got delayed and customers started to get dissatisfied, and the goodwill earned by the Rocky over the year begins to decline. You can explain any two features. Management is planning is a goal oriented, planning is pervasive, planning involves decision making. You can explain any two features. So planning, Kishore is very poor, and the B part is features. It is a pervasive and goal oriented. So you can write any two features of planning. Clear my point, all of you? So move to the next question. Thank you. Question number 3. Alpha Limited spent a lot of money to hire specialized people for framing their plans and collecting important facts from environment. The company cut down their cost by cancelling the employees' trip for recreation. Again, I am skipping what question what wants. My question what wants to me. Question wants to ask me name the limitation of planning mentioned in the above para. Limitation of planning. So again I am going to read the question. Alpha Limited spent a lot of money to hire specialized people for framing their plans and collecting important facts from environment. The company cut down their cost by cancelling the employee trip for recreation. कंपनी ने इतना पैसा प्लानिंग करने में लगा दिया कि उसने अपनी कॉस्ट को कट डाउन करने के लिए एम्प्लॉयज़ के ट्रिप को कट डाउन कर दिया, एम्प्लॉयज़ को के एक्स्ट्रा बेनिफिट्स को कट डाउन कर दिया. सो प्लानिंग इन्वॉल्व ह्यूज कॉस्ट. प्लानिंग इन्वॉल्व ह्यूज कॉस्ट. So there are few limitations of planning is there. You have to be recall all the limitations of planning first, and after that you can answer it easily. Now move to next question. Or in my next question again I am saying to you, first you read the question and after that you answer it. Name the function of management being discussed above and give any one of its characteristics. Anyone? And also briefly discuss any three limitations of the function discussed in the case. Any three limitations. Any three limitation means you can write any three limitations. So this question is not related with case studies. So you can write any three limitation. If doesn't read the case study and you know the limitations, you got 3 points easily. Now read the question, read the case study. Suhasini, a home science graduate from a reputed college, has recently done a cookery course. She wished to start her own venture. with a goal to provide health food at reasonable prices. She discussed her idea with her teacher, who encouraged her. After analyzing various options for starting her business venture, they shortlisted the option to sell ready-made and ready-to-make vegetable shakes and sattu milkshakes. Then they weigh the pros and cons of both the shortlisted options. So Suhasini, a home science graduate from a reputed college, has recently done a cookery course. She wished to start her own venture with a goal to provide health food at reasonable prices. She discussed her idea with her teacher. And after analyzing various options, planning involved decision making, because there are many alternatives are available, and every alternative has some pros and some cons. So planning involves decision making. So planning is the function of management discussed in the above case, and basically characteristics: planning involves decision making. Planning involves application of rational thinking to choose the best alternative among the various alternatives. And after that you can write any three limitations of planning. Explain any three limitations of planning. Planning is a time consuming process. Planning involves huge cost. Planning may not work in a dynamic environment. Planning leads to rigidity. You can write any three limitations of planning easily. Clear, everyone? So move to the next case study. Thank you. The next case study is, again, before reading the case study, first we need to read the question what wants for me. In context of the above case, identify the various features of planning highlighted in the above paragraph by quoting lines from it. In context of the above case, identify the various features. There are total 6 features. Planning is primary function. Planning is futuristic. Planning is continuous. Planning is pervasive. Planning is a mental exercise. Planning to achieve objective. So out of these 6, all are coming in this case, or a few are coming in this case. We need to be analyze it very carefully. Arush joined as a sales manager of a company dealing in neurotherapy products. Being proficient in his work, he knew that without good planning he will not able to organize, direct, control or perform any of the other managerial functions efficiently and effectively. Only on the basis of sales forecasting he would assist in the preparation of the annual plans for its production and sales. Besides, he will have to prepare sales plan regularly on weekly, monthly, quarterly and half-yearly basis. While preparing the sales forecast, he undertakes intellectual thinking involving foresight, visualization and issue judgment rather than wishful thinking or guesswork. Most importantly, all these planning activities will be meaningful only if they will coincide with the purpose for which the business is being carried out. In context of the above case, identify the various features of planning highlighted in the above paragraph by quoting lines from it. So we need to be read once again case, and in every line we need to identify the feature of planning. So Arush joined as a sales manager of a company dealing in neurotherapy product. It is a basically question starting line. Being proficient in his work, he knew that without good planning he will not be able to organize, direct, control or perform any of the other managerial function. The planning is a primary function of management, because without good planning he will not be able to organize, primary, base, direct, control or perform any of the other managerial functions efficiently and effectively. So this line quotes planning is a primary function of management. Only on the basis of sales forecasting he would assist in the preparation of the annual plan for its production and sales. So planning is futuristic. Only on the basis of sales forecasting, planning is futuristic. Besides, he will have to prepare sales plan regularly on weekly, monthly, quarterly and half yearly basis. Planning is a continuous process. He will have to prepare sales plan regularly. While preparing the sales forecast, he undertakes intellectual thinking involving foresight, visualization, and issue judgment rather than wishful thinking or guesswork. Just in the last question we discussed, objective type question we discussed, planning is a mental exercise. Yes, it is a mental exercise involving intellectual thinking, visualization, judgment rather than wishful thinking or guesswork. And most importantly, all these planning activities will be meaningful only if they will coincide with the purpose for which the business is being carried out. All planning activities will be meaningful. Planning focuses on objectives. So, all the features highlight in this case studies, all 5 features highlighted and quote the lines and explain the feature. So, I will show your answer. Show the answer. Planning is primary function. Quote the line. Second, planning is futuristic. Explain and again quote the line. Planning is continuous. Explain and again quote the line. Planning is a mental exercise. And last one, planning focuses on achieving objectives. So thank you. I hope you like my video. Thank you so much. So we will meet you soon with the next video. So keep safe, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.